cans run today?
Hey friends, got a video or a request to do a video from a friend. I think it was Matthew from the East Coast, and he asked the question of how do you get started. So I'm gonna let Jake talk to how we get started in all this.
Okay. How we got started, I got the idea of just keeping meat rabbits from a fellow at work who I was working with at the time that was into it. And then I purchased a book written by a couple out of Kansas. And they're actually kind of known by a few breeders here in Canada. They're a popular couple in the rabbitry community. They breed American chinchillas and other harder to find breeds. They have the goal of restoring some of these more livestock related farm rabbit breeds like American chinchillas, American blues, Blanca hot tots and stuff. Like they do all that stuff. Anyways, we started off basically raising them outdoor, and we had mostly wood hutches. We were like everybody else. We started off with a lot of wood, and eventually I wanted to go to a more modular system where I could interchange cages, where I could clean things easier. It's easier to sanitize steel, whereas you can't really sanitize wood. I wanted everything to be the same so I could move rabbits around. I want all my feeders the same, with everything the same. Kind of what we went in of going the directions. You see the rabbit stands here with the trays and everything. The only drawback is that with a setup like this, we don't have any shelter, so we live in a subdivision, so we ended up going with a temporary solution, which is the Shelter Logics tent. The rabbits have been in this for about 2 years. So basically, kind of like if I was to come up with a list of things to start with, you need food.
Show them the cage that we started out with.
I'll show you the cage we started out with. Now, a forewarner about this, we didn't really know what we were doing when we got started. I just dove into it. This is a section of the overall cage we started with. I believe this isn't actually a rabbit cage. I believe this is a ferret cage. It is actually not legal to keep rabbits in this because it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
13 inches.
7. It's 13 inches. The minimum requirement for height keeping rabbits in Ontario, and I believe all of Canada, is 16 inches.
But if you look at this, friends, there's a comparison between our cage and what that was. And we got rabbits, our first 3 rabbits. Do we have anything left out of that brood?
No, we don't.
They're all gone?
Yeah.
So our first 3 rabbits were housed in a cage that big right there. When we bought them, 1 died within 12 hours after buying it. 1 died giving birth. And what happened to the male?
I sold them.
We sold them.
I sold the 2 off to somebody who wanted to start with American Chins.
Yeah, they weren't, we didn't know what we were doing at all. And that's sometimes what happens when you go into things. I mean, we didn't lose any real big, huge money in the deal, but...
No, we didn't. We spent a little bit more, because there's like a path with our rabbitry. We started off very, very much based with wood. They were totally outdoor because we had wood hutches. The first cage we built, we sold. It was a longer one where we actually stapled the cage material was actually part of the hutch, and there was no real way to clean it as good as what we have now. So we really, the reason this is set up the way it is so we can try to keep cleanliness high. So you have a little bit more grace period with you got to keep it clean, but it's easier to keep clean with the steel. And I can brush stuff off. I can wash the pans out. So we just push cleanliness. Food, water. You got to have a manure plan too. You got a lot of manure out of these guys. So we, my future self will be stockpiling it in the winter and into the spring, because we had people calling us up for like 14 bags of manure. So there's tremendous value in stockpiling your manure from summer to fall, because nobody wants it in the summer to fall. Our manure sales have died off. So we're going to start bagging and stockpiling it if we can. Manure management, food, water, and that's about it. Um, your breeding months are when it's coolest out in the spring and the fall. In the winter, the fall off is too high. You have to shelf if you're going to breed in the winter. And even then, if you don't get to them in time, they'll freeze to death. So I think in Ontario anyways, and anywhere in Canada, our winters are far too cold to breed. And that's not just my opinion, that's consensus of the few breeders I talked to. It's too cold to breed in the winter if you're doing any kind of outdoor, anything other than the heated barn. So, yep, I source my feeders all from an individual. He'll ship all over Canada, so when I move, that's a good thing. I get my feeders from him.
Who's that?
Grandview Rabbitry, his name is. He's located in Westmont Rosen, Ontario. He's a rabbit farmer himself, and his business is he builds rabbit cages for a living. Sells materials to people that want to build their own rabbit cages, builds quail cages. He's into cavy cages, whatever you want cages for. So I buy my rolls of wire off of him. We started off buying them at a hardware store. They were 16 gauge. They were a little too light. This is 14, and we were paying far too much money. So
and what's the problem with the 14? The 16 gauge.
The 16 is okay for some very light breeds, but it doesn't hold a nice shape. It just does not. These are not perfectly square, but they are much better. You build a 16 and you could never fabricate something around it to hold it because it doesn't. It's a wobbly mess, and it's hard on the rabbit's feet because it
so if we were looking at these cages here, this is 16.
Yeah, it's very light.
Very light. And this is 16 electroplated. So this is the crap you get at TSC. And this is 14 hot dip galv after weld. Far superior wire. So if you're going to get into rabbits and do your own cages, this is the kind of stuff that you guys need to know that's helpful. So you don't waste your money buying stuff that we did. We wasted a little bit of money, I'm not going to lie.
A little bit of money on wood wires and stuff like that.
We didn't do everything as perfectly as we could have, and and there wasn't a lot of information right away, so we went into it. We got out of what we did. We sold everything off, and we were able to recoup some of the money, and you move on. So that's, and the cages, if any, excuse me, we will do a step-by-step cage video.
Yeah, I got one cage left. I'm out of rolled wire, but I have one cage out that I still have to build, so I'll do step-by-step, and I'll put it together. So I'm not an expert at this. I've had my hardest thing I've had to work on is writing things down, getting my pedigree sorted out. I'm still very new to raising rabbits, and there's people that have gotten a little bit frustrated with me because I don't have all the information they want instantly, but I think we've done okay. We haven't had any major health issues. We haven't had any. One rabbit maybe that has allergies. It doesn't appear to have snuffles. It sneezes a little bit. I think it's more allergies to something. I haven't had any crazy skin infections or anything like that. Everybody's been mostly healthy, so it's just, I think we've done okay on the sanitization. So she's still a little wet from her bath yesterday.
No, she's terrible. She lays in her own feces.
We have a rabbit here that...
I don't know what this is, a frustrating rabbit. This one here.
No, this one is okay. It's this one on...
No, I know. I just wanted to show everybody the how these little babies are doing. This is the brood of 3. They're just growing. I mean, you can't really say anything. So let's just really quick. So those guys that are getting into it. This is kind of the setup that we got. Keep your feed in garbage pails. We got hay. We got the fans. Keep the barn cool. It's not too bad in here right now. We use these big feeders, and we don't fill them up to the top. We just put a little bit in there.
Yeah, for our American viewers, it's going to be much easier for you guys to source. I mean, I've talked to American rabbit breeders. They can get these pans made out of blow molded plastic. Even better than metal in my opinion. You guys have so many options in America. You've got so many good suppliers. These bottles are Nivex. We stay away from pet stores. Stay out of pet stores.
Pet store stuff is junk.
$30 probably. This would be $30 for something like this in a pet store, whereas these are Nivex KW cages out of California. $10 Brian charges me for these. And the fonts, if I go bigger, when I get to where my farm is, I can pull all these fonts out and use them in an automatic system because they're interchangeable between the two. For depending on, you know, so I have options. The pans, he breaks all our pans for us. Pans have to be done tomorrow.
And the fly control, let's go back and do a revisit on that. And I'm going to tell you something right now. We don't have the UV light in yet, but these pull down sticky ass strips that are terrible if you touch them or you get them stuck to your head, like I have, and or God help you, don't get them in your hair. These things are killer. These were $4, I think, for a pack of 5. Right there, that's how they come. Probably different depending on where you live, but it's just a tube full of gooey paper tape with a hanger, and this dumb thing for $10.
It's catching flies too.
Yeah, but it's I don't know.
We had less flies yesterday. It seems like as the temperatures climb up a little bit, our flies come back. We're still battling flies.
Like there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I mean there is flies in there, but the strip's killing it. I'll bet you there's 4 or 5 times as many flies on the strip as there is in this bag deal. And we still have a lot flying around here. So we got the bulbs in from Amazon, and the UV light's on its way, and we'll be able to throw that up and show you guys that.
Now,
so
I don't know that it's the rabbits necessarily that are attracting. We have some other problems.
Problems with cats.
Around we have like neighborhood cats that are killing things, and the flies are they're bad everywhere. So they're all around the house and the neighbors' houses. And
so anyway, that's about it for today. Just wanted to let Buddy know, our buddy on the East Coast, about what we were doing and how we got started. So that's it. So that's it in a nutshell. That's the plan there. So yeah, you can start with wooden structures like we did, and I'll show you. We still have a couple of the frames left that we used to use. This is what we started with. So this was the 2 frames, and we had a whole bunch of these, and then we had plywood on top, so that made the roof, and then we were going to enclose them for the winter time. You can see the urine buildup. So that's what we were doing. So that gives you an idea. And then if you go look at the steel aspect of it, using steel as opposed to wood, now you kind of get what we're talking about. We can totally take these out. We can pressure wash them, clean them all up, can repaint them, can paint them a different color. We can do anything we want. Whereas the wood, not so much. So my big thing is I come from the food industry for a while. I worked in there, and sanitation is key. So that's what I'm all about, is sanitation. So anyway, thanks for joining us again. I just wanted to do that little quick video. I was hoping to keep it around 5 minutes, and we're already into 12 and a half, 13 minutes.
There's just things to talk about.
So there's lots to talk about. So if anybody else is interested in anything else, please ask. We've had a couple of requests so far, and it's been going good. So yeah, you can start with wooden cages. Yes, you can start with outdoor. Do I recommend it? If you can avoid it, please do. In our climate, you might want to think about enclosures, small barns,
and
garages,
we run 2 fans.
and ventilation is key, and it's starting to rain. And anyway, anything else you need to know, we'll get back to you. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, leave comments. We always like comments.
Positive suggestions, we appreciate it because we're very new to this. And
yeah, we've only been in this for a year and a bit, so if you have anything we want to talk about, we're here. We're all ears, ready to listen. So anyway, God bless. Cheers. Stay safe during COVID-19, and we'll see you soon.